Hey, this is John, and I'm here to talk about the Sanborn Culture Survey taken here earlier this year. Now, students and teachers took the test and were given various questions about the school. There was many questions where teachers and students agreed, but there was some questions where they completely disagreed. One of these questions was if teachers use visuals, pictures, and videos to help me learn. 95% of teachers said most of the time, while 65% of students and said teachers don't use enough visuals. That's a pretty big difference there. Now, I personally think some teachers use enough visuals, but some don't at all. I think that visuals help me better learn. Let's see what Ms. Hadwin has to say about this.
Do you think teachers use enough visuals in classrooms?
I think some teachers do. What do you think?
I think that the same thing, that some teachers do, some teachers don't at all. I think that more can be used in classrooms.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes teachers feel that they're using a lot of visuals when maybe if they ask students, the students will say that they're not. Something you definitely have to think about when you're planning your lessons.
Yeah. Do you think that visuals do help students learn in classrooms, or do you think they're just a waste of time?
I think visuals are very important. Absolutely. I think we kind of live in a visual world. You know, how do you explain something to someone just using words when really what you need is a clear picture?
That's good. Well, what do you consider to be visuals in a classroom?
Any kind of visual representation of an idea, a thing, a place. It could be a movie, it could be a diagram, it could be a picture, a magazine, you know, anything, any kind of visual representation, a drawing, an outline, anything like that.
All right. Well, thank you. That's all I have.
Now, I agree with Ms. Hadwin, and one teacher I really does an awesome job at visuals is Mr. Gray. Now, let's see what Mr. Gray has to say.
So, Mr. Gray, do you think teachers use lots of visuals in their classrooms?
Probably depends on your definition of what a visual is. I think teachers think that a visual might be a little different than what a student thinks a visual is. I do think that teachers try to use visuals. They may not be the most entertaining compared to what the students want, but I do think they are at least trying to get some type of visual representation with their content.
Do you think you use plenty of visuals in your classroom?
I try to anyway. Most of the time when I'm doing some type of lesson, I make sure that I have different components of it. You know, for those that like to read, I try to get a little bit of read in there. For those that try to or need to have that type of visual stimuli to get them to understand something, I try to use it, whether it be a political cartoon, maybe some type of YouTube video that I found online. Also just trying to find different pictures that go along with it. I think the students do learn well with visuals. Also, I try to do it in the lesson so that way students are also creating their own visuals. Sometimes they'll make like a storyboard. Sometimes they'll make their own kind of political cartoon. So maybe if it's not the visual that I'm giving them, but instead allowing them to create the visual. And I usually try to display it around the classroom to help students understand it by looking at other students' art.
How do you get your visuals that you use in your classrooms?
Well, it's all about kind of planning. I look through my unit. I try to figure out what I need, all right, to get the students to understand the stuff. Then I kind of go through that first part. The next part is trying to add some visuals to it. I usually do some type of Google search, right? Because I know a lot of like the things that students want to listen to or want to watch is online. So I go through, try to find maybe a cartoon video. Sometimes students actually, after going through a unit or a lesson, they'll say, "Hey, have you seen this video or have you seen this picture?" It goes along with it. So it all kind of depends on a couple factors I'm looking for. I try to plan, try to find it, listen to what students kind of want, and try to find something that's entertaining.
Well, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Well.
See, you can really learn some stuff from this teacher, awesome Mr. Gray. Now, I think of some visuals and videos and pictures and simulations to help me learn quicker. Let's see a student's thought about this.
So, Todd, do you think teachers use lots of visuals in their classrooms when they help you learn?
I see a lot of visuals, and I think visuals help me a lot, so I like them when they're used.
Do you think many teachers use visuals, or some teachers don't at all?
There's a lot of teachers, a few teachers I have that don't, but there's like one or two I do, which I would like to be more.
That's good. Oh yeah, me too. What type of visuals do you like to see in class?
Like, if we're learning about history events and timeline of pictures, math class, math diagrams.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Well, I hope this was informative to teachers and shows that visuals really do help students in class and encourages teachers to use more visuals in class. Well, this is John, and goodbye.